This video is brought to you by...
Don't ever let them put you in a box. Don't ever let them predict your next move. And most of all, don't ever stop motivating them. Cool green clothing, top of the line men's beard oil, coming soon. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way. And that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. Let's get right into the story. Being a teenager is an exciting time in life. You have your youth on your side, and if you make the right decisions, the skies can be the limit for your future. For some teens nowadays, it seems like the cool thing to do though is be gang, beef on social media with ops, and crash out at a young age. But you also got the good kids that don't want to grow up too fast, still want to play video games, hang with friends, and do regular teenage activities. The dividing line that separates the two is usually households, upbringings, association, and choices. As a father myself of a 20-year-old and 16-year-old, it's interesting to see the difference in the times they are growing up in than the times we grew up in. A lot of people say it's nothing new under the sun, and nothing has really changed. But it's clear for whatever reasons, whether social media or society, some of these kids nowadays are a lot more advanced than we were. But the ways they choose to use their skills varies. Some choose to use this age of technology and information to their benefit. As we are seeing, more and more younger people make money, go to college, get great careers, whether at a company or working for themselves, achieving success in the so-called American dream at a young age. On the flip side, it's more teens losing their lives, going to prison, or dealing with mental health and identity issues than ever before. We try to guide our kids in the right direction as parents and hope we did a good job. But sometimes it's nothing they did wrong or we can do. When they cross paths with another young man or woman that decided today will be the day I crash out and throw my life away. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing the case of a teen's visit downtown with a friend that turned into a fatal encounter. Back in March of this year, 17-year-old Devon Tiner was a young, bright, energetic young man who had his whole life ahead of him. Devon came from a good home, had both his parents in the household, and they worked hard to guide the young man in the right direction. A junior at Lansdowne High School, the young man had plans to be an HVAC technician after graduating. Described as being a respectful, well-mannered young man who stayed out the way, rotated with his circle of friends, understood the dangers of the city, but wasn't trying to go in that direction or be something he wasn't. Instead of running the streets, Devon would stay at home, cooling with his peoples or playing the game. On April 1st of this year, the young man informed his parents he was going to head downtown to the harbor to walk around with a friend. Regular teenager stuff. So they told him, okay, no problem, we will see you later. In another part of town was a 19-year-old man named Devon Cole. Devon also that night was traveling. He lived in Pikesville, Baltimore County, but him and 3 of his homeboys was going downtown that night too, but on a different type of time and motive. Close to 9 p.m., Devon was walking by the Renaissance Baltimore Harbor Place Hotel when allegedly he was approached by another group of young men. A few seconds later, shots went off and the men fled the scene. Witnesses called BPD, who responded to the location to find 17-year-old Devon suffering from a gunshot wound. He was rushed to a local hospital, but unfortunately, the young man wouldn't survive his injuries. Back at the scene, witnesses told police a group of men approached the young man and what seemed to be a confrontation. Being that the area is considered one of the safest in the city, where a lot of natives come to hang out and tourists come to visit, cameras were everywhere. That night, detectives called Devon's mother and father to deliver the heartbreaking news. As they received the call, the family was devastated. As the story hit the news, BPD focused on surveillance video from the area that showed 4 young men traveling on the MTA all the way to getting off at that stop, bopping by the hotel and walking up to Devon before the shots went off. But what once seemed like an altercation was now viewed as a robbery attempt. Still images of the suspects was released to the media as the whole incident was caught on camera. As the situation set in for the family and Devon's friends, his parents addressed their feelings, with his father stating how hurt he was, expressing, "You raise your kids, give them wisdom and guidance so one day they can go out here, be successful, and then bury you," as the circle of life goes. But you can never imagine burying your 17-year-old. His mother also stated he was a good kid who stayed out the way, didn't get into any trouble, and that night he left home, she felt something was wrong when she called and the young man didn't answer his phone like he always did. The family wanted justice and answers. A few days would go by when detectives would receive tips about the identity of one of the men in the pictures and him possibly being the alleged trigger man. They pointed to 19-year-old Devon Cole. Eventually, after saying he was hot and his face was all on the news, Devon turned himself in and was charged with first and second degree hit, robbery, and other charges. As news of the arrest came, Devon's family could finally feel some relief, but his father stated he feels sorry for Devon's family also because he is only 19 years old and has to now pay for what he allegedly did, leaving 2 families to grieve, losing 2 young men, one gone and the other possibly going to prison for a long time. A vigil was held for Devon, where family and friends showed their love and support for the young man and how he impacted all of their lives, including his best friend of 13 years, who let it be known that was his right-hand man, and life doesn't feel the same without being able to call and kick it with his friend. As of now, this case hasn't made its way to trial yet, and Devon is innocent until proven otherwise. Rest in peace to Devon. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to his parents and rest of his family. His mother stated something that caught my attention. She stated her son was at the wrong place at the wrong time, but then she caught herself and took it back because he wasn't. He was literally being a teenager, enjoying his city out the way. It's unfortunate when a young person loses their life before they even get a chance to live, all because of something petty. Allegedly, Devon and his peoples came downtown to rob and not enjoy the area. This is a prime example of what I was talking about earlier, how 2 young men could be on 2 different type of times growing up in the same city. Unfortunately, Devon made a choice for whatever reason that night, but what we gotta realize, he didn't just take Devon, he took a part of his mother, his father, his homeboy, and if Devon goes to prison, his family will also suffer as well. But like they say, you don't see it until it's too late, cause hindsight is 20/20. But hey, that's the Baltimore way. Man, rest in peace, that young man. I definitely send my prayers to his family and his peoples. But yeah, I ain't gonna speak too much more about this one. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.